for final year student from 400 level, they don't just send it to look for interns, they bring the companies to you. The companies come, they bring representatives from Shell, from Total, from Nestle. See, these are the chemical process engineers we want. These are the kind of jobs we want, such that when you finish, there is an end. So I am concerned, and honestly, if you are my brother, I'm concerned to you for you to go in and do another master's, PhD in a university that does not expose you to anything beyond academia. If you want to stay purely academia, based on what I know, and Dr. Agbede can correct me here, if we started doing that, whereby we expose our students to industry, I would say the master's could be a great opportunity and a leg up, because many people have undergrad degrees now and your competition is just a lot. So if you have a master's, you have a leg up to be able to get into that industry. But if it's same old, I am concerned. And I don't know enough to over criticize, but the advantage we have outside the country is it just exposes you to the industry and allow you to have a leg in to get into industry, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I think maybe just to add to this is that my perspective for an extra degree is more around, it's more about experience, exposure, and becoming brother, right? So when you have a first degree from the university, it shows that you can learn. It shows that you are teachable. It shows you can acquire skills. But my decision personally for me, the decision for choosing to do my master's outside Nigeria is because of the exposure. I wanted to have that experience, to see how things are being done, and so it was more than just getting an extra degree, right? And so coming back with that understanding, the exposure, to see how that is done, I can then apply that personally for myself, and then I can communicate that to people who are within the Nigerian space, that these are the opportunities that are outside. This is how, this is the vision of what we can be. So I'll give an example of one of those things that I think can improve. Is that if you in a master's, if you go to a university abroad, as a student, you have access to a library of materials that is almost infinite, right? With just your student ID, you can access multiple materials. And that's because the university has paid for that material. And that helps you. So if you are someone who is studious, you have opportunity to read and learn. And that is something we can really do in Nigeria as well. It is not difficult to do, but if people are not aware that that is possible, then we continue to do the same thing, right? So my message to you will be that if you want to do a master's degree, be cautious about the reason why you want to do it. Are you doing it just because you want to have an extra certificate, or do you want to do it because you need that experience, or do you want to grow, right? So, and those things would then influence which area you pick to go and do those things. Okay. But I think we can talk a bit more outside this session, if you don't mind. Okay. Thanks, Funsho. I think Funsho has put in the courses.
Yeah, so there's something I wanted to add to what you said. I noticed that Lau just put up academia. Now, academia is a fantastic place to get resources from, and there are a lot of online libraries that we have, and I think it's something that the department can take a look at. I know I'd had this conversation once with Fumi, who was our class rep when we were in school. So I think it's something the department can look at. If we could register for some of these online libraries. I don't know if we've gotten to the stage where we have internet access and computers in the library. But it's something that would be fantastic if as a department we get into these online libraries, and then we can always download a lot of data, or download a lot of books that we can read and things that we can see. So we have academia, we have what's that? We have script, and we have so many other online libraries that we can always tie into. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. I think maybe we'll discuss this further with Dr. Agbede and co and see what can be done in that area. And still on the masters, I think there's a question related to masters here from Elisha Oderinde. So he's saying, is it advisable to get a master's degree before work experience or vice versa? So he's not so concerned about where you get it, but he's asking, do I need a master's first or should I go to work first?
Let me take a stab at that and someone can jump in. In the world we are in right now, experience is key. There is a shift going on whereby the world is becoming more global and companies are looking for people that can add value to them. So throwing a diploma in their face is no longer as interesting as it was in the past days. So I will encourage that if you can get experience, now it depends on your situation. There's no right or wrong answer. If opportunity presents itself with a full PTDF scholarship to go to a master's in Imperial College London, please do take it. But if you have an opportunity to get the experience first, I would preferentially say get experience first, understand what you even want to get yourself into. Because when you start doing, I've seen masters in project management, masters in process technology, you could tweak your interest to say, okay, rather than go for conventional masters in chemical engineering, process engineering, I want to focus on instrumentation. I want to focus on safety. I want to focus on control. So that experience will expose you to the inner workings of the organization or the area you are working in, and that can dictate where you should go and do a master's in. So yes, preferentially, I will go for experience first, and then you do your master's, a targeted master's later. It can just be even an MBA to complement the skills that you have. So that is what I would say. But if you have PTDF scholarship that will expire and you can go now, please do. Those opportunities don't come every day.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
a lot.
can
Yinka, you want to
can
you
I
wanted
add to?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
can I just add to that? I mean, it's just as Lalo said, there's no right or wrong answer. It's going to depend on your individual situation, right? But I guess the important thing is, if you are doing the master, it's not just to add another quality to your name, as it were. I mean, that's not the point. It's if you are going for a master's, it's about the skills. What skills are you going to get from that master's? What is it going to add to your career journey? All right. So if and again, as Lalu said, experience, it depends on your personal situation. If you think you have an opportunity to have an experience in a company, which is going to give you a really, really good foundation in terms of your skills and to start building your career, then you might as well go for that rather than just go for a career job, go for a master's just for the sake of going for it. But yeah, there's no right or wrong answer.
Indeed. So, and I think just like it said, it's everything is always about your choices. If, for example, you want to develop as an academic, then I think just make up your mind and go for your master's, do your PhD, and then join the academia. But if you really want to build a career in the industry, it is good to have an understanding of the industry you want to go into before you then choose a master's degree to pursue. Let me take this. Maybe for sure you can help with this. What are the basic softwares required for an engineering student? Yeah, I think this is a good one.
Okay, so first of all, we usually start with HISIS. So you have HISIS. So you have Aspentech is a product that has quite a lot of softwares in it. So HYSYS is what we use really. So yeah, in the same vein as HYSYS, you also have AspenTech Plus. And that's another one used a lot in the chemical industry. For the oil and gas, a lot of times, a lot of people use, HYSYS, and I think they also use Pro 2 in a lot in Total and all. But let me just quickly explain what HYSYS does. So HYSYS really takes it does your thermodynamic work really well for you. You can build the models, and then it does your equation flash. You remember the things that we did all the way from when we were, I can't remember, I know it was Mr. Kelano when he was trying to explain what, the process whole stretches. But so what HYSYS does for you, it literally models what the facility is going to look like. You know that in chemical engineers, three things are really very important for us. The temperature is important, the pressure is important, and then the composition is important, because all of this will change as you go on from temperature to pressure, and how you increase temperature and pressure is based on your pumps or your compressors and all of that. So how you separate your stuff again with thermodynamical basis is also very important, because that tells you how much would be in liquid or how much would be in gas. And then when you are also doing your component separation, like in your distillation columns and all. So HYSYS is fantastic in that. It also gives you the ability to model on pipelines and put that in place. Another one that is also good for pipeline analysis and gathering systems is PipeSim. PipeSim works very well. Yeah, I see Unisim and HYSYS are literally the same. It's just that Unisim was the original owners of HYSYS before they got bought over by AspenTech. And according to the law in the US, you cannot just run a monopoly. So that's why we have Unisim that is run by HYSYS, that is run by Honeywell. The Olga is another fantastic one for flow assurance. PipeSim is very good for flow assurance, and I think those are basically the main ones that are actually out there in the space. AutoCAD, you use that for drafting. The thing with AutoCAD is that engineers really, that's another thing that I had to learn when I came out. So engineers really run the designs, and then you probably usually have somebody who is very good in AutoCAD that does the drafting for you. But the truth about it is that what the engineer does actually is the design. Is AutoCAD good for you to learn? Absolutely. So what I would just advise is as many softwares as you can lay your hands on, you should just try to learn them. It is not a big deal. The only important thing is you understanding the theory and the engineering that goes behind the software, which is what Professor Bede and every other fantastic person in LAUTECH is doing at this moment.
Yep.
Thank you. Let me put a plug in there. I think, Babalola, I think one of the things, I think as a student now, you're hearing all these things, said, oh, how will I get AutoCAD? How will I get all this? One of the things I want to encourage you to do, which I still do even career-wise, is that if I have a set of jobs I want to take in the future, I start downloading the requirement for those jobs. Every time they post a job similar to a job I want, I download it. Though I'm not ready to apply for it, I start looking at the requirement for those jobs. What are the terms that they are using? What are the softwares they are mentioning? And I can start positioning myself to take those jobs when I'm ready. So like Funsho has listed all these things, I want to challenge you guys in final year. Go in and download all the job requirements that Shell is putting out for process engineers for entry level, please, not for advanced level. Entry level, what do they want? Just download it and all of you share it among yourself and sit down and say, can I do this? Oh, I can't do that. How can I be able to talk about it? And all of you start pulling together, like Babala said, building together the capabilities that once you show up in that interview and you can talk through all those things, you will jump to the front of the queue and in people they want to get to. So all these processes, please go in and start downloading what does Shell want in engineers, what does Total want, what does Nestle want, Nigerian breweries, banks, and start pulling together